What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm going to be reviewing Transformers masterpiece MP-27 Ironhide. I'm really excited for this figure because it's kind of the first time where they've made this sort of mid-size vehicle. And then they had all the Autobot cars, and they've had kind of the trucks, you know, Masterpiece Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus. But they really haven't had this, you know, mid-size kind of van. So I'm excited for this, and I also really like this character. And I know there's been a lot of debate back and forth about his whole, I don't know, we'll get into it when we get the figure out, but his whole look here and whether he's G1 accurate or not, and just based on the look, you know, of the box and the way he's on here, I'm definitely excited to get this guy. Much more than Trax, I think, because he's a very iconic character. He actually dies in the Transformers movie, and it's cool that they decided to finally make this guy. So anyway, for the box, you do have a slightly larger, slightly wider and thicker box for the vehicle. It's pretty heavy. It's kind of thick. There's a lot of stuff in here. You have a picture of the vehicle on this side, picture of Ironhide on that side. On the back, you've got has tons of accessories. His rifle, his blasters, his radar dish, his hands in all the various modes, the jetpack, his various faces, the sled. I mean, there is so much stuff here. A lot of images, so pretty neat. And you do have an image of Ironhide inside of the trailer, so he does fit there. Let's get this guy out of the package and take a look. Now, it's quite a thick package. There's a lot of stuff here. There's actually two trays. There's one on top here with the vehicle, some of the guns. I already lost a piece. And the sled. And on the bottom, you've got this whole other tray with all of the hands and the jetpack. So really quite a lot of stuff. It was very tightly packed in this box. So it kind of tells you, yeah, they're giving you a lot of stuff with this guy. Let's get the box out of here and get the figure kind of in front of us. Let's take a quick look at the instruction manual here and the collector's card. Now it looks like they're continuing on with the theme, the new style theme. They're definitely making these thicker, it feels thicker anyway, than the original previous cards, so that's nice. But the new style, you know, I'm not sure I like this one. This one's actually even more different than the last one we got. Let's take a look. Here we got Masterpiece Trax, and I mean, I guess they're the same style, but he's kind of playing in the dirt here. It looks like there's a storm or a tornado or something, I don't know. Wind blowing. Not a big fan of this image here. The back is pretty much the same style as before, so that's fine. But overall, a nice card, you know, definitely nice and thick compared to before. And let's take a quick look at the manual here. And Takara always has very nice instruction manuals, you know, high quality, high color, nice images, actual product shot images. And then of course you've got some of the animated pictures. So here you have kind of a animated shot. I think it's the same shot right here of Ironhide kind of blown up. You've got a shot from the G1 cartoon with his laser pistols, a shot with his static laser gun. Okay, I guess that's what it's called. And then here it shows you how to put the pistol in, how to mount it to the top of the vehicle, how to mount it to the bottom of the vehicle. So that's pretty cool. And then you got his liquid shooter, which is the 3 variations of hands that he's got. You've got the hands with the holes at the ends, you've got the red kind of tube, and then you've got the gray sort of pyramid, or not pyramid, a gray, I can't think of the shape right now, but he's got 3 different ones, and I don't really understand the need for that. In the cartoon, I only seem to remember the one with the hands that had the holes at the end, and he would shoot fire out of them. And the only other one I remember is the silver one, where he shot, I think, stuff to put a fire out. That's about all I can remember. Anyway, so you got the liquid shooter, you've got the utility sensor, kind of like a radar that attaches to his arm. And you also have the scan from the utility sensor, which is basically just a little piece of cardboard that you stick in his chest, and it kind of pretends like he's displaying whatever he's scanning on his chest. So a little neat nod there. You also got the missile launcher. You got an image here from the G1 cartoon of Ironhide and looks like Prowl. I think it's Prowl. Yeah, they're flying through the air. He's got his missile launcher on his back. So it's interesting. I think that's one of the first episode where he's actually able to fly. And then he's also got his jet pack or jet thruster. That's an image from the G1 cartoon. And then it shows you how to attach it. So really a lot of accessories here. And you've got some nice product shots kind of from the front. It gives you all the dimensions here of the actual vehicle, and then you've got his stats here. He's pretty slow. He's got a speed of 3. But very nice front cover of the manual, and on the back you've got the instructions. I'm not going to go through this on camera, but it does pretty much show how to do everything. The transformation, the faceplate change. Yeah, so nice manual. I think they did a good job of that. So without further ado, let's get along to the vehicle mode. And right off the bat, this vehicle is just well detailed. It's got nice chrome bumper here, nice detailed lights. They're like a translucent plastic, orange, silver, and red. I think that's actually the first time we've gotten lights like that. Normally you've got painted lights. I mean, these have some semi-realistic lights, but as far as tail lights go, we haven't gotten a lot of realistic lights like that, where they're translucent plastic. Nice painted door handles here. And on the front, you've got the headlights, similar to kind of Optimus Prime. Also the turn signals on the side, that's pretty neat. And then again, another nice chrome bumper on the front, and blinkers or reflectors on the bottom here. So well detailed, really, really nicely done. Oh, you also have a windshield wiper on the back. Let's see, on the front you have them too. So they really kind of put in a lot of detail on this guy, almost at the level of Hasbro's Masterpiece Optimus Prime. They just kind of completed this. It feels complete as far as the Ultimate is concerned, and I appreciate them taking time to really make sure this is accurate. Now, this is a Nissan Cherry Vanette, and it's a real vehicle, so I did look at some images. This is fairly accurate. I know some people complain, well, why do you have this window in the back here? Well, this is accurate to the original G1 toy. It had that exact same thing, and same thing up here. This is accurate G1 toy. So this figure is kind of a mix. It's like accurate to the vehicle, the real life vehicle, but then also accurate to the G1 toy with this, and then also the faux face you got here, which is really weird. It doesn't even look like a face. I just happen to know it's a face from some other reviews, but really they have a good balance between G1 toy and vehicle mode. Now, just for comparison's sake, we'll get out Blue Streak here. So lengthwise, he appears to be slightly shorter than Blue Streak. Height-wise, definitely shorter. I'm sorry, definitely taller than Blue Streak. So I think the scale works. The wheels are approximately the same size, so it seems to work well with the Autobot vehicles. Again, I can't really confirm this is in scale or not. So you can mount the weapons here. You can take this one and mount it on top. It doesn't turn or anything. It does kind of angle up and down. That's about it for that. Or you can get these guns in here. And by the way, they do fit very nicely. I don't seem to have any problem pushing in that spring-loaded piece there. So it really looks nice. I think it actually looks better with the what was this again? The laser. The static laser gun. So we'll put this guy up here. And then as far as the bottom is concerned, you can also attach these onto the bottom of the vehicle mode. And it sort of looks like exhaust, exhaust pipes. I mean, it does have a little tiny exhaust right here. But that has a very natural look. It looks kind of like it's part of the car. Not really a separate thing. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that they fit that in there. It made it look like it's really part of the vehicle. It does roll pretty well. It's very heavy, so it rolls nicely, nice and even on the ground. This thing does not fit into the vehicle mode, so we're going to get this out of the way. But that's about it for vehicle mode. Can't really do too much else. I know there's the flight stand that came out for the Trax figure, and that's supposed to be compatible with this figure. However, in vehicle mode, I don't see any ports to be able to mount this. I mean, I don't know why you would mount a vehicle that's driving onto a flight stand, but there doesn't appear to be any port. Now, I know in robot mode there is a port to mount it, so we'll take a look at that. That's about it for vehicle mode. We'll get this guy transformed and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back from transforming, and I really like this guy. It looks awesome. There's something about having this on camera that for whatever reason it doesn't look good on camera, but in person it's not that bad. I mean, a lot of people have complained about this, the so-called diaper area. I mean, it looks bad on the camera, but when you have it in hand, to be honest, it's not that bad. I mean, it looks like it's the right size, and I don't know, it doesn't bother me. These things, these hip skirts, they're annoying, not because of the look. I actually don't even mind the look because they kind of disappear if you're looking straight on. But if you look from the side, yeah, it's kind of visible. And there's some things you can do, but it's not really the look that bothers me. It's this. It gets in the way of lifting the legs up, or having a dynamic pose like that where you're trying to get the legs out. And while the heels, and I'll go over articulation here, but the heels are articulated enough to get pretty pretty wide angle, but these hip skirts definitely limit it. So one thing I've found that you can do, and I'm not saying this is a great improvement, but it's a possibility, you can untuck this butt flap here. Oh, by the way, I don't mind the butt flaps either. They're not bad at all. It's just tucks back there. It's not a big deal for me. I really don't mind it. So a lot of people complain about this, but it doesn't seem to bother me at all. But anyway, if you untuck this and then you pull these out and then fold it up and kind of keep going until it meets up here, right there, and then same on this side, pull this out and then flip it up until it meets right there. You definitely you can get a wider stance now. You can get him, fortunately his legs don't hold that wide, but you can get him in a really much wider stance by doing that. Now that doesn't look great from the front, so it's about the only option I've seen, I've found to kind of hide this. The other way is, this really isn't good, but you can kind of bring this to the front like that. And you replaced his diaper with balls, really. And you can push these back in. And yeah, that's not much better. In fact, that's definitely worse. So there's not much you can do about these things, these hip skirts and the wheel tire butt. So to be honest, I think what they came up with is fine. Tuck these back in here, and it really does hide away and tab in quite nicely. There's nice thick tabs back here to get it in, and it's fine. What else? So let's cover articulation. So his head is on a ball joint. You get a really good range. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not on a ball joint. It's on a, looks like a, there's a hinge and so it's kind of double hinged there. Oh, and looks like his face mask is coming off here. Let me just put that back. So you get a pretty wide range of movement here. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to be taking his head off like that. It doesn't seem to peg in. I don't want to force it, but yeah, you get plenty of movement with the head, and it's nice and tight. That's another thing with this guy. All the joints are nice and tight, nice and clicky, ratchety. It feels robust. It feels strong. It feels like it's not going to break. And that's something that's been lacking of late is robust feeling robot. So that's the head. You've got the arm. It does swing 360, but due to the way the transformation is, you kind of have to move it out of the way to get it all the way around. There's another thing people have complained about is this joint, the fact that you can see the ratchet. I don't care. I don't know why that's a problem. Even looking from the top doesn't bother me at all. Looking from the side, no problem. And a lot of people kind of didn't really show this, but this tabs in and it's pretty secure. The arm's not going anywhere. So I don't have an issue with that. You know, I have no problem with these shoulder joints. They're fine. It was a creative solution by Takara in my mind. So anyway, that's it for that. You do kind of get a there is a double jointed elbow, but half of it's inside this box, so you can't get it to bend past there. It does bend backwards a little bit, but that's about all you get. You also have a bicep swivel, and you do get a wrist swivel, and the hand is a single one knuckle piece. Noticing a sprue mark here. That's not great. But yeah, good articulation. This guy really is quite poseable. I think actually even more poseable than the previous figure, the Trax figure. Now moving on to the legs. You are hindered by this side skirt, and I would say that is probably my one complaint about this figure is I wish they could have figured out a way to move this to the back. If they could have figured out a way to just slide this and cover up the tires and also make it part of the back, that would have been a great solution. But I'm okay with this. It's really the only issue I have. Now you do get side skirts here, but once you lift that up, it looks really bizarre. Especially if you have both. It looks like he has a thingy sticking out of his diaper. So I don't know, that's kind of strange. I'm not sure why it's an odd design decision and you can't really get the leg out that far anyway, so I'm not sure what the point of that is, but it's there. Going back, it's also kind of hindered by the kibble. So you don't really get a full range of motion here, but you do have this in and out and a slight rotation there. You have a nice ratchet at the knee, a rotation at the knee, very nice ankle tilt. That for me, that's enough. And you also get ankle pivot and ankle tilt, both. Really chunky feet here that support a lot of poses. I like the fact that they made them nice and big. I feel like he's poseable enough. You can get him into enough poses. I feel like it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece figure. So that's about it for articulation. Let's take a look at his weapons here. Now we do have the sled, and I love this thing. I think this is so cool that they made this. None of the figures come with like a storage bin for all the weapons. I think this is really neat. It's a nice nod to G1, and the accessories themselves are just high quality. So here's an example. And I haven't seen too many people showing this off, but this flame burst is painted really nicely. It's got the white, kind of the real hot part, and then it kind of fades to a yellow. And hopefully this comes across camera, but beautiful paintwork on this. They didn't need to do that or include that, but they did. And if we take out the jetpack here, it has a really nice look to it. All of these accessories, by the way, all of these are high quality. A lot of people are saying, well, did we need it? No, we didn't need it, and they don't really do much for you. But they're nice. They're good quality, and it's cool. I don't know. So you take this guy, and it just basically pegs into his back here, and now you got his jetpack. And we're going to get him on the flight stand with his jetpack here. So we have Trax flight stand over here. And he does have the same hexagonal, or I'm sorry, it's not a hexagon, sorry, hexagon. It's hexagonal port on the back of his butt. So, not really sure how you'd get him in a flying position. Let's see. There you go. And you unfortunately can't get his head to look up any higher than that. Oh, and his arms. Okay. So I can understand now some of the complaints I've heard about his arms not... You can't get him to go straight forward. So let's see if we can do this. Yes, you can. So you just gotta flip him around, and then you can do it. You just gotta flip his hands around so he doesn't look like he's, I don't know, being weird. Let's just flip this around, and there you go. Now he is flying. He's got a flying pose, and that's pretty cool. I don't know, I like it. I would never pose him this way, but you can get him into a flight pose. There you go. So I like the fact that they're integrating or allowing the new figures to use this flight stand. That's really cool. I don't think it's necessary for this guy. You could just kind of have him doing that. You know, maybe ready to fly or whatever. But yes, that is an awesome accessory. I'd probably even just leave it on there. Now let's take a look at his rocket launcher. And this, unfortunately, can't have both. You can either have the rocket launcher or the jetpack. So I'll take this off. Get this on there. And this thing is very poseable. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera here. This has a lot of range. So you can kind of have them down here. You can have it all the way up here. So there's kind of two angles. You can kind of rotate it here, and you got the bend here, and then you got the bend there. And that's pretty neat. I like that. And it does come out. This is like a little missile here. I don't know why you would want to take it out. I find any actual firing missiles kind of useless, because are you really gonna fire the missiles? Oh, sorry, we gotta flip his arms back here. That's probably the one downfall with the flight mode, is you gotta flip the arms around in order to make it look right. There we go. And that's the right way. Okay. I am noticing his legs are a little loose, but it works. Alright, now I'll get his handguns here. Let's get him fully loaded here. And these, just like every other masterpiece, they tab into the hands. So you can kind of wedge it in there. And it's pretty deep. The actual slot for the peg is kind of all the way in, so you kind of have to push it in. It's fine. It has no problem pegging in. It's just kind of have to force it in there. I'm not a big fan of forcing things in, but it works. So we'll check the other hand here. It's really quite tight. I mean, this is almost to the point I'm a little worried trying to get it in there. Okay, but it goes in. I think Takara has good tolerances. And That looks awesome. I love the look of this. This is kind of like totally loaded up with guns, and it's awesome. Yeah, having two of these pistols actually kind of reminds me of the Bumblebee pistol. Very similar, slightly, a little bit different, but very similar shape. Obviously different color, but really, really close. We'll do some comparisons with the other robots as well. But that's it for his guns. They really are well done. They're painted. That's another thing about this guy. The paint on him is very well done. It kind of feels like the whole thing is painted. It's not just molded red plastic. I mean, there are pieces that are molded red plastic, but it feels very high quality. I have no other way to say that, but the plastic, it feels very high quality, and then the fact that it's painted, it just makes it seem like it's not just a toy. It's a a masterpiece. Anyway, let's get the gun out of here. And these are really tight. I'm actually kind of irks me trying to get these out. They don't want to come out. I'm not really sure how you get it out. Wow. Okay, so you kind of want to wiggle it out from the front, but it doesn't feel good doing that, and it almost feels like you're going to break it. But so in order to get the other weapons, you're going to fold out his peg here and then put this back on. By the way, this whole arm, it's very solid. It closes up really nicely, and everything's like that. All the panels, all the things that form his arms and legs, they're very solid, and they kind of come together very nicely. Alright, so let's take a look at his flame hands. I think that's what it's called. And I think this is the best one, to be honest, but let's take a look. So it's not a round peg, which you would expect. It's square. So it looks like there's a slot, and it only kind of goes one way. I don't see any other way to put it on there. Let's see. Yeah, it'll only go on the one way, and it's good. I like it. Oops. Yeah, and it doesn't rotate because it's on that peg, so you kind of have to just put them out like that. And it's a little weird looking, but I like the fact that they included that. And by the way, these are really nice too. I mean, the paint on here is like a gunmetal metallic paint. These are just little accessories, and they're nice. They're really nice. I feel like they didn't cheap out. I felt like with Trax they did. They cheaped out, and things were just felt low quality. But even these little things, and that's what I have to say about this. Even though they included 3 sets of hands, or what do you call them, flame hands, they're nice. They're good quality. Let's take a look at this one. This one's basically the same material, same paint, but it just feels thick and good quality. Let's put this one on. Now, I mean, that's kind of cool too. I sort of like that. I just can't remember what cartoon scene that's from. We'll try to get that scene and get it on the part of the review here. But that really, it looks good. It's a perfect match to the paint on his upper arm here. So it just looks like it's part of him. It doesn't look like an extra piece, even though it's pegged on there. And that's a well thought out and kind of intuitive, or not intuitive, I'm sorry, innovative way of creating this guy. This is his little scanner here, and that looks alright. I mean, it's not great. Probably should go on this arm. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I'm not a huge fan of that. Let's get his little chest piece in there. So they give you that little cardboard piece which you stick in I really don't know what this is. Some kind of dinosaur? I mean, I really don't know. But yeah, you fold this piece down here, and then you sort of stick it in there. I mean, it's stupid to me. I'm not really a fan of this, but there you go. And now he's got something on his chest. That's kind of dumb. I probably won't use this at all. It's sort of it reminds me of Soundwave, and if you go check out my Soundwave review from way back, Soundwave's box came with an image that was on the, actually, not the box, I'm sorry, the manual had a little image, and it was a little square that fit perfectly into his chest piece, and it would almost like this. It showed him kind of scanning something and displaying it on his chest, except this time they didn't make it part of the manual where you had to cut it out. They actually gave you the cutout pre-made. So it's interesting, but I think if anything, Soundwave should have come with a square cardboard piece to stick in his chest, not Ironhide, because he's not really known for doing this. It's probably one or two scenes where he does this. But anyway, that's it for the extra hands and the chest. Now, we didn't take a look at this gun here, so let's take a look at that. He just has so much. Comes with so much stuff. Yeah, so I really want to be careful with this. It almost feels like you're going to break the thumb off. So the way you want to remove it is you want to push it out from the bottom and then pull forward, and that'll get the gun out. So same with this. I'm a little afraid to put this in, but there we go. Let's get this off of here. I don't know. Not a fan of that. I don't know why. It just looks dumb. It looks kind of silly. I think it looked better in vehicle mode on top of it. It's not fitting well either, to be honest. Yeah, this gun doesn't seem to want to go nicely or straight into his hand. It's kind of cockeyed. But I have no plan to use it anyways, because I'm not a fan of the way that looks. I feel like this looks much cooler. And I remember it being, I don't remember this gun, I remember this, but anyway, it does fit. You could use it. I'm not going to use it. So same thing, bend out from the bottom and then pull forward. And you should be able to get it out. There we go. Alright, so I think we covered all of the accessories. Now, one thing I did want to try out was getting his gun mounted here. And seeing if you could get him to so yeah, you can't really do this. You can't really use the sled for anything, to be honest. It's not usable in robot mode, unfortunately. I mean, you might be able to maybe take the flight mode stand and maybe stick in here. Yeah, that doesn't work well. So you really can't use this in robot mode. It's mainly just a display piece, but it's nice quality. It's high quality. It looks nice, and it holds all the weapons. So when you're not using them, you can put it there. And I just noticed something. I had this face pegged in over here, and it stripped off paint from the peg, and luckily it's on the back. Yeah, it looks like this is actually gray underneath, and they maybe painted it red. Kind of odd, but so let's take a look at the alternate face here. Now this does come out really easy. You just kind of push right here, and it sort of forces the face off. And this has a peg. Okay, this one's gray too underneath, so maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Take the alternate face, stick it onto the peg there, and you just kind of push it in. And there you have his crying face. It's kind of dumb. I don't really like I mean, the head sculpt is great, but this face is kind of silly. I prefer I feel like this face is very accurate to G1. They don't need to change it. And it's good. It looks fine. There's no need for this. But it does fit, and it's nice that they included an extra face. It just goes to show, you know, they're almost trying to compete with some of these third-party companies who are giving you thousands of accessories with their third-party masterpiece figures. And, you know, now Takara's said, well, this really can't cost them much, you know. It's very little tiny pieces of plastic, maybe a little bit of R&D to make them. So why not? Why not include a face? And it makes people happy. And it's an extra $1 that they can earn. So it's good. So getting this back on here. It does have a nice storage for the alternate face. So I appreciate that. And we didn't cover this guy, this little red thing here, so let's take a look at that. I mean, this one looks really stupid because it's the paint color, this paint scheme is the same, and it feels like it's not natural. I mean, I don't know, something looks weird with it. So not a fan of these. I would not use these. If anything, I'd probably use these because it just looks the coolest, and it's nice and detailed and good paint. So I'd probably use that. And it does go on there nice and tight. So there you go. So we pretty much covered all the accessories here. And let's take a look at a little bit of scale comparison with some of the other masterpiece figures. We'll get all the accessories out of the way here. So here we have Blue Streak, MP-18B. This is a KO, and it feels right to me. You know, the size looks right. Here's Bumblebee for another comparison, and Bumblebee is pretty tiny, but that to me that feels like how it was in the cartoon. Now I don't know if this is accurate as far as a Volkswagen Beetle versus a Nissan Cherry Vanette, but to me it looks right. It looks good. They scale well together and they look good together. So we'll get these guys kind of moved off to the side here. We'll bring in MP-10B, which, by the way, I haven't reviewed yet, so maybe we'll get a review of MP-10B. Go ahead and leave me comments if you are interested in seeing a review of this guy and a comparison with the standard MP-10. But yeah, it looks right. I mean, when you think about the cartoon, you think about Optimus being the big guy, you know, the head honcho. Other than Ultra Magnus, he was kind of the biggest guy in season 1 of Transformers, and Ironhide was kind of, slightly smaller. So this scale works for me, and I really like the size and the aesthetic of this robot. This gets me back to what we got with this guy. MP-10 was such a good mold, and they made four different figures off of this guy, and for a long time they weren't able to recreate or reproduce a mold really this good. I think this was so good because it had a very accurate vehicle mode and a very accurate robot mode. It had both, and it didn't compromise very much. This guy is getting there. He's not quite there. He's not quite the perfect vehicle mode and the perfect robot mode, but he's getting back to what we got with MP-10. In my opinion, the MP-25 Trax was an abysmal failure as far as making it robust and this level. And I think Ironhide is there. He's almost at that level. I would say the only thing holding him back are these hip skirts. In vehicle mode, he's perfect. I think he's on par with a MP-10 mold. And in robot mode, he's close to perfect. I would deduct points for those. But in person, I don't even mind this crotch piece. It looks fine standing right in front of me. I'm looking through the camera, and it looks too big. And I don't know why it's that way, but when you have this in hand, trust me, it looks okay. It looks good. There's no problem with the size of this thing. All right, well, that's about it, guys. I've covered pretty much everything with this guy. I really like it. I think Takara hit a home run with this. They needed a good figure to come back from MP-25 and MP-26. Those just weren't on par with where they were at, and now I think they're back on track. And MP-28 Hot Rod does look pretty cool. There's some weird things with his angles and his kind of his chest, the size of his chest, but I'm excited to see that. We'll be reviewing that soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks when we get it. But leave me some comments. Let me know if you are interested in a review of MP-10B and a comparison. So that's it, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.